I didn't come up with this concept. Another fellow in South Arkansas did, but I kind of copied it. And you get you a good straight broom handle or whatever, and good grain in it. Bolt your plywood on here, regular wood clips. A little plywood, screwed it. Click the nail on it, to make it all settle. And I like these. As you get older, it's harder to get up off the ground. You're gonna learn real quick. If you have a lot of traps and snares out, you go to get up that 47th time that day, this is real handy to stand up, maybe get across a ditch or whatever. No,
No, it's okay.
I took the side of the coffee can, you see right here, and bended it in and riveted it on there, and that's what I put my cable cutters in. Cable cutters are just about invaluable on the snare line, and you can shove them in there. Got a pliers holder on there. I like the big lineman's pliers. They're a little heavier, but they got serrated jaws, so they really grip the wire and stuff better. There's a plier holder right there, and they don't dump out. They're always at the top of the bucket. You don't have to dig clear to the bottom and scratch your hand up on wire and cable and get crap on you. So I like all that. It makes everything just a little handier. Probably should come up with a wire reeler. Unfortunately, the metal wire reelers that use a whole roll of wire, the guys that tie rebar and stuff, they're big old cast heavy things and too bulky for me. They make a plastic one that's lighter and cheaper, but again, I'd rather have trap wire. I like the 14 gauge trap wire. I think Doug says it's 6.5 a roll now. Everything's gone up, but to me, that's the best all-around wire. We use tons of it on the snare line. Okay. I like poles and logs to snare on because it narrows down the trail. It's just that simple. The big logs are going to go right down top of it, so they're not going to get off to the side or wander, maybe run through the grass you got stuck in. So we'll get to that in just a minute, but there's several sizes of cable. This wire, even a 1/16, has 49 strands of wire. There's 7 wires twisted together, and then those 7 are twisted together, and that's why it's so flexible. So there's 49 strands of wire, and it's tempered, and strong, made out of some good stuff. It's galvanized, of course. So that keeps it from rusting, which keeps it more usable for longer. You can make your own. You need to buy your first snares because they'll be made right, and then you can kind of copy off them if you want to make your own. You see how that snare is kind of teardrop? Okay, I should have showed this before, and I'll probably talk about it again. We do the other stuff. This is kind of the way it comes off your bench. It'll be a kind of a teardrop shape. I used to do this little hook deal like that, so that when it hangs and you're setting it, it's relaxed in any angle. I find it when you roll these up, throw them in your bucket, and you get out to go to set, you reach in and pull out one, and you come out with 3 or 4 because this thing with a hook on it. Pull your wire out, dump junk in the ground in the water. So I finally went, and you'll see some of these have a little loop on the end. I call this the dead end because they don't do nothing. So you can take that and pull it down to your snare lock, your deer stop, and you can put that around a, let's say there's a little rod sticking out here. Big nail, small bolt, drop that on your bench, and you get the way the lay of the cable. When it comes, put on there on the spool hot. So when it's rolled up, it's got a natural curl to it. It might be too much, it might be too little. Most cable comes to America on 5,000 foot reels from mostly foreign countries. But you pick that up like that, and you put it around that thing, and you kind of pull it gently about like that. And you see, I don't know if I could lay it down, you can see it. It puts natural curl in the cable. It kind of preloads it, we call it. Now, if you pull it too hard, it's going to do that. It's going to figure 8. So I got that a little too tight. Now, if we're after a coon, it'll be okay, because we can still get it down to about a 6-inch loop, and you can kink this a little bit. But whatever you got to do to get it shaped. And once you get it set, you want that lock either 11 o'clock or 1 o'clock, so that the wind blowing don't close it, or a leaf hits it and won't close it down. So for coon, we want about the width of your hand off the ground and about a 5, 6, even 7-inch loop. Put your little guide stick over here on each side. You got your lock where it needs to go. When he walks through it, he walks with his head kind of down most of the time. Coon don't travel like a fox and toad his head up all the time. Most of the time his head's gonna be down. That's why you put it so low to the ground or top of the pole. So when he goes through it, then this thing starts and it'll drop down. It's kind of rough and used. You can pull that lock down and get the burr off of it. And you always want to do that when you're getting ready. Now that has been used before. I wouldn't call something that's got kinks in it. But it should just close itself, see? And that's what you want. You want that thing to close as smooth and as quickly. Just trying to climb out of there. Anyway, kind of a little bit about preload. 10-foot snares are better because, in some circumstances, on the river, you've got more to tie to, more trees and snags and drifts and all that kind of stuff. It saves you a lot of time to make long snares. It costs you a little bit more, but we're talking 7 cents a foot. So if you make it 3 or 4 feet long, we're not talking about that much. You got to have your name tag on there, or ID, I guess you call it. You can use your truck license, your customer ID number, game fish, name and address, your driver's license number, whatever things you use. But this is called a micro log. Pass that around. It's got a little slot at the bottom of it, and that kind of helps the thing relax as it's closing. It's pretty slick. The little penny washer is also a good one. Neil Bach developed this at the Snare shop in Iowa. Bought a lot of stuff off of him.
There we go.
That's also a good one. That's called a
What's this one called?
penny washer. It's penny sized washer log. Just a washer with a hole drilled in it. But if you try to make your own, get the angle right, get the hole size right, so you're better off to buy them. They're 6 cents a piece. $1 a dozen, I think they said a while ago. Supports for your snare. Something as simple as a stick. Go in a willow thicket for season before you get ready to start. Cut you a bunch of these. If you're going to do a lot of cows, cut them 26, 28 inches long, sharpen them a little bit. Maybe put you one notch or drill a hole in it. Take you a double strand of wire. Let me tell you, over and over and over, I preach this. If you go around a stick, let's say you're going to make a coon set here. No matter where you put that stick, whether it's on a knot, slick, bark missing, whatever, go around that stick twice, because you can never get that one strand around there. There's always going to be that little V right there that you just can't hardly get tight enough for it twisting too, right? So if you go around there twice and then twist it, you get twice as much as you heard it here first. Gription, I call it. You give that 2 or 3 twists, you can play a tune on that. Then you twist these together and you leave one a little bit longer, and then when you get your snare, you wrap it around there and you pull that one back over and use that to hold your snare. I want that as rigid as if I stand there and hold it in my fist. So when they push into it, it zips down. If it's all floppy and loose and they start feeling resistance, I think a lot of times they back at it. I've had it happen a lot. Excuse me. So by all means, go around whatever your support is twice. Twist her good and tight. And that won't twist around. That's the thing I learned a long time ago. But you can make these up ahead of time. Go ahead and put your double strand around here, come out, go around here. And when you go set your snare, I'll just set to come up off the ground or your anchor or tree or whatever you got it tied to. Just go around this 3 or 4 times like that. And you get right out here and you just take that long piece of wire and just double it back like that. That's how simple it can be. And that'll hold it right where you want it, okay? Now, they make snare supports. They're a little faster, a little sweeter if you want to call it that. They're a little plastic tube goes on here. If it's a little big, you may have to wrinkle in that wire just a little bit so it'll hold it. They make one that's called a pigtail, but you have to have one for, there's like 2 different sizes for different sizes of wire. But if you're out there and you're trying to get a lot of wire out, that 14 gauge and the 9 gauge here is your 2 number 1 sizes. So they make a thing called a twist-on support. Go talk to these guys. I think Doug got them. It looks like a little funnel made into a spring, and it'll work on 14 gauge wire, 11 gauge wire, 9 gauge wire, because when you get everything ready, you slide that up there.